Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to the A through Z playthrough. In today's video, we're taking a look at Sylvanas, a character with a very interesting past in this game. For instance, her level 4 talent, Possession, used to be one of her ultimate abilities. Then mind control came into the game, and since then mind control has been completely changed. In fact, a lot of Sylvanas's kit has been completely changed. There used to be a map in the rotation called the Haunted Mines, and let me give you a quick story on why the Haunted Mines was removed. You're looking at it. Sylvanas's trait, the black arrows, didn't used to have a cooldown. It simply was on. If you attacked something, it would be stunned. And we're talking about any minion, any mercenary camp, and any building that the enemy team had. So if your team got a couple of kills, there was literally no reason not to push down the nearest building and siege it instantly. Sylvanas enabled her team to take more buildings in a split second than any other character in the game has even come close to. The reason Haunted Mines was removed is because the objective had players going down into the basement of a map to beat up a bunch of skeletons, to collect skulls, to summon in a big skull golem. However, Sylvanas completely broke that mechanic in a way that they took the map out of the rotation, tried to reintroduce it again, it was just as broken, and then they had to rework Sylvanas. So if your team was successful in gathering all of those skulls and getting a really big golem, congratulations. You have a Sylvanas on your team that can then push that very first objective at the, 4-minute mark or whatever, all the way to the core on a regular basis. I'm not saying you're going to kill the core that early, but you could completely wipe out an entire lanes of defenses because she could just turn off all of the buildings, get full value on that. Let's say your team wasn't winning the skull race. Well, congratulations, you have a Sylvanas on your team. Don't worry about going down into the basement. Just gather your team together and take a building for free while the enemy team is doing the objective. It was actually ridiculous. It was actually toxic, to be honest. Most of the 25 levels you see on this character were accumulated while she was completely busted. Her Q ability used to be one of those like Lily's where you would just hold it down the entire game because you were getting charges back all the time. It wasn't an 8-second cooldown. Her W ability has been totally adjusted. I talk about that in the video, so I won't dwell on that too much. And her big rework came into the game on December 11th, 2018. So it's been a few years now, but I don't know, man. I just can't get into it. I remember how good it used to be. It's difficult for me to pick up this character again. A lot of people are playing her with a very aggressive E playstyle. She can dish out a ton of damage very, very quickly if she forgoes her escape as a more offensive tool. However, I kind of hate playing that way. It goes against everything my brain has ever told me to do. So I'm going to show you an alternative today. I'll let you be the judge on whether or not it's better. But I really gave this my best shot. I tried really hard. I just couldn't quite find my groove on this character again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in the Towers of Doom today. The friendly team, Sylvanas, Sonya, Li Ming, Mei, and Anduin. The enemy team, Lieutenant Mama Morales, Jim Raynor, Kel'Thas, Mal'Ganis, and Zebo. At level 1, I still really like... I don't want to say really like. I still prefer to play... with W build Sylvanas. It was always my favorite before. Something about just putting your W on a minion wave and then watching it explode is really, really satisfying. At level 1, we have Unfurling Shadows. Enemies who are hit by our auto attack 3 times and then hit with our W will stack up the damage of our W throughout the entire duration of that dot. So our gameplay suddenly becomes making sure... Oh, I'm dead. Ooh! Making sure that we can auto attack someone 3 times and then putting our W on them. I play pretty fucking recklessly in the early game because I want to stack up as much of that as I can. Li Ming with the rotation. I'm probably still forced out here because this guy is nailing spiders on me. Am I really just walking in straight lines? Because that's kind of what it feels like when I'm going up to this guy. With Nazeebo backing and using his sippy cup, he might go for a Merc camp right now. Maybe we want to check this. We do want to check this. He's missing. Oh, he just left. Okay. This build excels if the enemy team has some hefty front line that you could take easy pokes at. Mal'Ganis probably not a good example because he could punish me pretty hard. But like something like a Stitches, if Stitches is just walking up, get a couple auto attacks into him, exactly 3 auto attacks, in fact, into him, and then hit him with your W, and it scales your damage up quite nicely. I don't know how well this will scale against this enemy comp. I mean, they do have a Morals who's going to be keeping their front line alive for quite some time. There we go. All of that hit. Good slows by our Mei as well. And this Nazeebo isn't going to know what hit him, but neither am I if I keep getting hit by those spiders. Now that we hit level 4, enemy minions are going to explode upon death. Now, how our W ability used to work is we would simply put our W on any target, and then the damage would spread to all others. But now we have to pick a target, and then damage radiates off of a dagger that gets kind of hovered in the air above a target's head. I don't like it anywhere near as much. Basically what that means is if you want your W damage to spread in a team fight, you need to put it on a tank that's next to their allies. Whereas before you could literally put it on anyone and it would spread just fine. Speaking of enemy tanks, there's 3 auto attacks into a dot. We continue to chase after this guy for bonus damage. And then I'm just going to fall back for a very quick channel here. Mei down in the bottom lane should be able to push back the Lieutenant Mama Morales that's down there. And because we have a mini-map subscription, we know that the enemy team doesn't have a healer up top. So we could have pushed in pretty hard. Instead, ooh, I thought they already got it. That's on me. That's my fucking bad. So rather than going down to bottom to help Mei, we want Mei to actually keep as many people down there as humanly possible. So we're going to help push in here. I think Nazeebo has already used a few of his abilities. There's a couple auto attacks into him. That W damage is spreading as it hits Mal'Ganis, and the friendly team picks up 2 of the objective. Bottom lane still has not been taken. We'll grab that regen globe and start to head down there. Mei holding off the assault forever. Now we're going to take a lost soul. Basic attacks reduce shadow daggers cooldown. This is really fun. Again, if we're able to trade, like on this Mama Morales who can't really stop us, we are going to be able to really reduce the cooldown of our ability quite substantially, so we can send out multiple W's on a single target throughout a single team fight. Again, if we're able to stay in a position where we can actually deal damage. Sylvanas' trait literally broke the game. They had to remove a map because of it, but our trait now is on a pretty long cooldown of 40 seconds, and then anything, even buildings, minions, monsters, mercenaries, not monsters actually, will be frozen. They cannot attack while the trait is on them. So, one of the biggest things you need to do if you're playing Sylvanas is to make sure that when an enemy is killed, you push the nearest tower as aggressively as you can. We cleared out the enemy in the bottom lane there. What do? We pop our trait, run into a building, and make sure we get value. It is free tower damage if no one is around. I don't want to trade into this too hard. I just want to get my trait on him, or 3 auto attacks on him, so I can scale my W damage. We've increased our W damage by 14.5% so far, and it's, I don't know, it's probably like 500 damage cast right now. If I had to, let me see how much it does per tick. 55 a tick. Maybe not 500 damage, maybe closer to 400 damage per cast. I've walked out of a game with 100 plus stacks, and it's like 600, 700 damage on my W by the end of the game, and it's a free cast that you could just keep casting and casting and casting. It's fucking nuts, actually. I'm gonna go for mind control. We are just going to use this as a means of applying easy auto attack stacks to an enemy. So like Mal'Ganis here, he moves up. If we're worried about him, which we're not right now, all we would do is hit him with a mind control to keep him still, so we could keep hitting him with our autos. As they are moving in, I'm way too close. We need to back up. It's not my job to frontline. I'm probably the squishiest person on the team other than Lee Mig, to be honest. Good engage by our Sonya. Let's just send my control out here. Unfortunately, it did miss. I'm going to fall back for a channel as everyone is reinforcing this pretty heavily. Enemy team falling back behind their wall at the moment. They don't have ults and we do, so I'm not too surprised. Ooh, I'm too far. There is a really aggressive... So I just want to say, this is not a popular build by any means. I was jumping into Sylvanas and just trying to find a playstyle that I enjoyed. The most popular way of playing Sylvanas right now is like more of a burst mage, where you take Windrunner at 13 and then Festering Wounds at 7. However, like the way I learned to play this character, bro, is you don't use your E unless you need it. And then that build is all about just engaging as hard as you can with your E and then teleporting back the other way to get maximum stacks on a character as fast as you can. I hate playing that way. I fucking hate playing that way. So that's not something I'm interested in at all, just in case you were wondering. We are going to move down to the Minion Wave, though, and look how fast our clears are getting. This is one of the fastest Minion Wave clears in the game. All we have to do is put our W on a central unit inside of a minion group, so usually the mage in my case, and then just start using our Q to fucking start auto-attacking. We're going to mind control into these guys here, hitting the Zebo for as much damage as I fucking can, and then noping right the fuck out a second later. The enemy team's KT does have Pyroblast. It's not something I can really mitigate too much. So I'm gonna leave him alone. We are 3 levels ahead of our enemy right now, so this game is looking really, really good. Do I even want to take Windrunner? I don't really think I do. I think I'm just gonna go for Cold Embrace and keep it going. Another option in that tier is to increase our auto attack range by a little bit. Oh, look at that damage. Beautiful. We're at 50 stacks. That's a 25.5% increase for our W damage. Sonya leaping in. We're going to follow. The dagger was out, but he died immediately, so it didn't actually radiate any damage. KT has Phoenix? Oh. Bro, that literally looks like a fireball up there. Yeah, my bad. I totally could have fucked that guy. Walked right in. I was playing around a cooldown he didn't have. Let's see. Here, watch this. Watch this. W on lane. Boom, 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 boom. It's just gone. There are 3 members of the enemy team pushing the bottom lane. It looks like they're not soaking very well to get back into the game. We could just trait middle, but I'm not that worried about it. Let's just put our W on that tower. That tower will die. We'll immediately go to soak XP somewhere else. The friendly team's on boss. I'm going to stay close to that, but not on top of that. So, like, if they need me... Ooh, good save. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If they need me, I'll be there. But it's my job to make sure that we have map pressure against this enemy team basically all the fucking time. Hyperion going off is not something I'm going to concern myself with. We already got a kill on that team fight. That's already a net positive. I'm going to push bottom lane as hard as I can. So basically, like, old Sylvanas didn't do any of this ramp up period. I didn't have to auto attack someone multiple times and get them debuffed before I started using my abilities really well. And I don't like it. I mean, obviously we're winning this game. The trait is super duper strong and can move in and take over stuff like this all the time. We see 3 enemy members on the map, so we know it's probably safe for us to be here. I'm just gonna totally beat down this building. So, like, from a macro sense, I still really enjoy this character. But from a, like, actually playing it in team fights, it doesn't really do it for me anymore. And I don't know. I'm not trying to say she's bad or anything, because I don't really think she is. My control. Ooh, that's not who I wanted. I'm scared. Here's another W. But I mean, we are able to make targets extremely vulnerable to incoming team damage, which is kind of fun. Like this life drain here, the fact that you can heal for some of the damage that you do, but you have to have targets stacked up with 3 auto attacks before you start healing, which is like, by the time I'm in a fight and I'm already hitting someone this hard, I'm already dying. Like, I already need to leave. We have a really good push here. The enemy team trying to take their building back in the bottom lane. I'm just going to disable all of these towers and walk right in to siege down this building. The friendly team moving in to help as well. We have a fucking 4-level lead. And this is what Sylvanas is good at. When your team has an advantage, just capitalizing on that advantage in every single way. It's always been what she's excelled at. Just how she does it now is a little different than what she used to be. Rather than chasing this enemy team up to the top lane, we're immediately just going to fall back in here, disable this building with our trait. The enemy team trying to fight off Sonya in the top lane. We are just retaking what they already retook. They just spent how many seconds trying to get that piece of land back? And that doesn't matter to us at all. 4-level lead as we're moving back in. We're dealing damage every second to the enemy team's core. Are they going to be able to retake top before this game is over? The Phoenix is down. A projectile is in the air. They're at 2 HP. And they save it. But all we need is one single objective to make this happen. And with the enemy team mostly up in the top lane, we can rotate down here and grab this. Wow, that was a fucking stomp. Oh my lord. Mercy me, mercy me. I think I played about 8. Yeah, that's the number I'll go with. 8 practice games leading up to this one. I don't know. It was just kind of okay. I wouldn't say I had a great time. I used an analogy earlier, and it's like if I was eating a delicious salad filled to the brim with all of these delicious things that I wanted to have on it, with like my favorite salad dressing, and I was really enjoying it, and someone comes over and slaps that salad out of my hands and it's like, fuck you, you can't have this, go outside and eat some grass. It's green, it's a leaf, it's the same thing. Maybe that's a little extreme. But old Sylvanas was just so busted that she probably did need to get slapped out of our hands, to be honest. She's single-handedly the reason we do not have haunted mines anymore. Let's all not forget that. Talents I used in today's video, again, this is not a popular way of playing her at all. This is just kind of what I fell into. I really like damage over time, so this is kind of in my wheelhouse. I like really aggressive siege damage and super fast minion wave clears, so again, that's kind of in my wheelhouse. But we went for Unfurling Shadows at level 1, Unstable Poison at 4, Lost Soul at 7, into Mind Control, Cold Embrace into Life Drain, and at level 20 I likely would have gone, you know what I actually would have done? I would have gone for Withering Barrage, because each time our Q hits a target, it's then going to mark them, which means I don't have to auto attack them as much, and that means I can stack up the W damage even faster. However, we never got to the late game, boys. That's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with Tassadar. I'll see you guys next time.